Hinduism, Buddhism, part of Chapter 3, Section 2. So if we look at the origins of Hinduism, it's very different from other major religions like Buddhism, Christianity, where you have a clear prophet and a single ruler. Hinduism is actually a collection of religious beliefs that have developed throughout time. In fact, it's the oldest one that we're going to be looking at. So as early as the 1500 BC, so over 3,000 years ago, the earliest forms of Hinduism is developed through the form of Vedas. So the Vedas focuses on ideas over authors. There's multiple creation myths, and there's 4 in total: the Rig, the Sama, the Asur, and the Athara. Now, following the Vedas, another main part of Hinduism and the Hindu teaching can be found in the Upanishads. So the Upanishads are a set of conversations between a student and a teacher, and based on these conversations, people can learn more about Hinduism. And Upanishad actually literally means upa, near, and shad means sit. And it's inspired by people sitting together and sharing ideas. And in the Upanishads, one of the main concepts is that people are souls, that our true beings are souls, and our bodies are just simply a vessel containing our true selves, which is our soul. 2 key words revolving Hinduism is karma and reincarnation. Karma is an interesting concept. It means if you do something bad, that something's going to come back to you bad as well. It's also a concept, if you do something good, then good things happen to you. So it's a very simple concept, and it goes not just beyond during your lifetime, but in your afterlife as well. So if you live a good life, then in your afterlife, and this connects to vocabulary word number 2, reincarnation. So when someone dies, you have a new life, your soul is moved into a new vessel. So whether you may be reincarnated as an insect, it may be if you lived a poor life, whereas if you lived a great life, being nice to everyone and whatnot, then maybe you might be reborn as a god. This also connects to the caste system, which we'll talk in a bit more detail in a few minutes. And in Hinduism, this cycle can stop. This cycle can stop when one reaches moksha. When they release moksha, they are truly enlightened, and they are released from this cycle, and they no longer reincarnate. So an interesting concept to think about is whether or not you believe in karma. Now when it comes to gods, Hinduism is polytheistic, so there are many, but you should know the main 3. This is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the creator, the protector, and the destroyer. So when you look at this picture, can you tell which one is which? If you guessed the destroyer on the left, you are correct. The creator in the middle, and the protector on the right. Now, Hindu diet is very interesting because most Hindus are vegetarian. And not only are most Hindus vegetarian, but they especially dislike the concept of eating beef. And this is because cows are considered to be holy animal in the religion. So here are some interesting pictures showing you how McDonald's in India is very different from the McDonald's we have in the West. Here you have an example of someone having the Maharaja Mac Jr. So this you can only get in India. So it's interesting how McDonald's is around the world, but it's very different based on where it is. And obviously not a beef patty, because cows are holy animals in India. So the caste system is a very interesting point about Hinduism. So before we get into the detail, just a quick note. Although it is practiced in rural areas of India, it's slowly going away. So the system of the caste system, 1, does still exist, but 2 is slowly going away. So with that said, what is this caste system? So the caste system means people are born into a different class, and based on those classes, there's restrictions in regards to jobs they can have, there's restrictions in regards to who they can marry, and the concept of karma comes into play here in reincarnation, because people believe that through reincarnation you can be reborn into a higher caste. So this is what the caste system looks like in a nutshell. At the top you have the priest class, then followed by warriors and rulers. Very interesting is at the bottom here we have what are known as the untouchables. So these outcasts are those at the bottom of the pyramid, and they can only marry each other. They're considered to be dirty. They are only given the worst jobs in society, like cleaning up urine and cleaning up feces, those type of jobs. Now, Jainism emerges at about 600 BC. So again, this is a very old religion, older than Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. And the difference with Jainists in comparison to Hindus is they believe in, first of all, a God. They believe in a hell and a heaven. They also are different from Hindus in the sense that they view the world as being this one universe, this world having one soul. And it still exists today. It's a small minority, just about, I believe around 5 million followers in the world. Most of them exist in India. And the other big difference is in Hinduism there's a concept of an almighty God, whereas in Jainism there is no God. There's no concept of a one major God that's in charge. So Buddhism is another religion that roots itself based on Hinduism, right? It shares the ideas of karma, reincarnation. In order to understand Buddhism, we must understand Siddhartha Gautama. So Siddhartha Gautama was born into a rich family, and he's told if he stays inside the palace his whole life, that he's going to be a very rich person. And if he leaves the building, he's going to be a spiritual leader. So his family decides to keep him at home, and they feed him well, he has a great life, they have all the luxuries he needs, but he feels like something's missing. So at age 29, he leaves his house, and there, when he leaves his house, he realizes that outside the palace there's all these issues. People are suffering. That's a key word there. People are suffering in so many ways, suffering from old age, suffering and then dying, suffering from diseases. And he realizes that life is about finding enlightenment, or what he calls nirvana. Goes on to a mission to decide that his main goal in life is to find inner peace. And he sits under a tree and meditates for 49 days until he is able to figure out what it means to be enlightened. And that's when he first gets his nickname, the Buddha. He figures out the way to stop suffering is through following the Four Noble Truths. So the Four Noble Truths in a nutshell goes something along the lines of everyone is suffering. Suffering is caused by desire. To eliminate this suffering, you must eliminate desire. You can eliminate desire by following the Eightfold Path. So again, if we look at this concept, everyone is suffering. So for example, you want to do better in school. You want to get better grades, you want a girlfriend, a boyfriend, you want to live in a bigger house, you want to have a better car. He says that's all suffering. And he says number 2, we suffer because we desire something better. So the reason why you're suffering, saying, oh, I want a Lamborghini, is because you have the desire to have a Lamborghini. So in order to get rid of that suffering, you simply have to eliminate that desire. So if you no longer want that Lamborghini, you're no longer suffering. Right? Because you no longer have this longing for that car. And finally, he says, to eliminate desire completely, one must follow the Eightfold Path. And by following the Eightfold Path, one can reach nirvana. So you may be wondering now, what is this Eightfold Path? Well, it's divided into 3 categories: wisdom, morality, and concentration. And Buddhists believe that by having the right speech, the right action, the right effort, and being mindful, being understanding, that one can reach nirvana. Now in comparison to Hinduism, there's 2 major differences with Buddhists and Hindus. So the first is that Hinduism believes in multiple gods. To the contrary, Buddhists, kind of like Jainists, believe that there is no God, that religion is about the individual and about reaching enlightenment. The other big difference is caste system. So in Hinduism, the caste system exists. In Buddhism, they actually believe the caste system is damaging. They saw the type of preferential treatment those in the top end of the pyramid were receiving, and they thought this is unfair to society, that everyone should be equal. Here's the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976. Have an excellent day. Goodbye.